going to take you on a wildlife tour of Asia, including China, India, Cambodia, Pakistan, and Nepal, all without ever leaving the Bronx. We begin this journey by crossing over the Bronx River. Thousands of commuters cross this waterway each day. Below the highways and our elevated tracks, the river still rushes along, inviting habitats of fish, ducks, turtles, and other migrating birds. To our next exhibit, we're going to see some of India's national birds, the peafowl. Did you know that only the males are called peacocks? The females are actually called peahens. And beyond them, you're going to see, if you look far back at the exhibit, you'll see the black-buck antelope. Black-buck antelope are sexually dimorphic, meaning that males and females look different from each other. The males have a dark chocolate brown coat, long spiral horns, and stand about 2.5 to 3 feet tall at the shoulder, while the females have a tan coat, no horns, and are slightly smaller than males. They're also called swamp deer, although not all live in swampy habitats. As for the peafowl, yes, only the males are called peacocks. The peacocks use their feathers to attract the peahens. But these are not tail feathers, but rather back feathers. The peacocks use their shorter tail feathers to help prop up the long, beautiful back feathers when displayed. We are currently about to cross an exhibit hut. These huts represent an important conservation story about the fair insignia deer.
In 1970, there were estimated to be only 66 of the barrack-single deer remaining in central India. But this population was saved by the cooperation of the local Indian community. Like the shacks you see here, there were many small farms using space in and around India's Kanha National Park. These people were coming into contact with the deer and the tigers that were also living there. Through cooperation with the Indian government, local communities agreed to relocate their villages. By moving, the farmers still had land to farm, but the tigers and their prey got more room to roam.
We all know that an animal that is extinct no longer exists in the wild, like the dinosaur or the dodo. Well, the next animal we are going to see was on the brink of extinction. In fact, the Mongolian wild horse was extinct in nature. It can only be found in captivity. There have been some successful reintroductions of Mongolian wild horses in the parts of Mongolia and China, thanks to North America and Asian zoos. Once we enter the exhibit, if you look to your far right, you're going to see the horses. The one closest to the train track, closest to us, you'll see a mother and then her baby walking up. This baby is 2 weeks old, just born 2 Fridays ago.
Oh, yeah.
Mongolian wild horse is the only true wild horse living today. And as you can see, they differ in looks from domestic horses. They have a stockier build, shorter legs, and an erect mohawk-like mane which exists in the forelock. That's a typical piece of hair that falls over the horse's forehead. Captive breeding of these animals began in 1901 with a herd of 28 horses. The Bronx Zoo received its first herd of Mongolian wild horses in 1902, and we have maintained that same herd ever since. Here is some more information about these rare animals.
The first accounts of Mongolian wild horses come from rock engravings, paintings, and even cave drawings that date back more than 20,000 years. And the first written accounts were from Tibet, sometime around 900 AD. But these horses remained largely unknown and unnamed to the Western world for many years. During an expedition to Central Asia in 1879, a famous Russian explorer and naturalist, Colonel Nikolai Przewalski, encountered the horse in Western Mongolia. Because of his discovery, this species is also known as Przewalski's horse.
You may have noticed that some of our trees are wrapped in wire. We know that trees are important as they provide shade for our animals, but we also have to protect our trees from our animals. The animals might bite at the tree, or they'll tear off the bark with their antlers. So the wire is used merely to animals look for our trees. As we look for our animals, I want you to think of where you would go if you wanted a shady spot, a quiet place to rest, or a little grazing time. At this time of the day, this next exhibit, are 2 endangered species, the gaur and the brown-antlered deer. You're going to be to the far right-hand up corner. First, we see the gaur. The gaur are the largest wild cattle in the world. Males can stand up to 6 feet tall, 10 feet long, and weigh as much as 2,000 pounds, about the size of a small car. With their large size and their impressive horns, a male gaur can fight off practically anything, even a tiger. though, is the loss of their natural habitat and the diseases they catch from domestic cattle. Also in this exhibit are the brown-antlered deer. If you look to the far right exhibit, you'll see them lying by the fence. Currently classified as vulnerable, these deer are continuing to lose their wild space. In many cases, herds must resort to feeding on crops, as their natural habitat has been taken over for farming. Both the Gower and the brown-antlered deer are part of the species survival plan.
Here at the zoo, we help Gower and brown-antlered deer and many other species by participating in cooperative zoo management programs called Species Survival Plans. The name says it all. The plans aim to help these animals survive. Zoos across the country work together to maintain genetically diverse populations of rare and endangered species.
It is easy to forget that the Bronx Zoo lies in the heart of an urban environment, so the noise you might be hearing is actually traffic on the Bronx River Parkway. If you look ahead of you, you'll see a large, tall exhibit vegetated wood. These wood exhibits help to shield the noise from our animals. As we round this next corner, we're going to be looking for a tiger. Tiger stripes provide excellent camouflage. They're often difficult to spot. Tigers are so secretive that even professional researchers have trouble spotting them in the wild. Right now, if you look in the pool, you're going to see Lachuta taking a dip. Lachutas are 10-year-old male Amur or Siberian tiger. Here, let me slow down the train for you guys just a little bit. He is the proud father of the Amur cubs you can go see over at Tiger Mountain. Lachuta is on loan to us from the Toronto Zoo, but he came to the Bronx Zoo from the Milwaukee Zoo, where he recently participated in an SSP program. Tigers will typically gorge themselves on fresh kill, eating as much as 40 pounds of meat at a time. For us folks, that's the equivalent of eating 160 hamburgers all in one sitting. So after a meal of such size, the tiger will typically not eat again for several days. Unfortunately, those tigers are endangered. There may be as few as 3,000 left in the wild, with only 1,000 of those being breeding females. WCS, through our Tigers Forever initiative, is working to protect them through our long-standing conservation programs in all 9 countries where wild tigers still exist. And as you enter the next exhibit, if you look up the hill, you'll see a closer look at our Gower. Next, you're going to see some spotted deer. These are the axis deer. They're native to India and Sri Lanka. Although most deer lose their spots as they mature, the axis deer keep their spotted coat throughout their entire lives. The Bronx Zoo's proud to exhibit axis deer since our opening in 1899. The larger golden-colored deer you heard about earlier, these are the Barasingha deer. Barasingha gets our name from the shape of the male's antlers. Barasingha means 12 times its technique. An adult male can have between 12 and 14 sticks on their antlers. Barasingha are also called swamp deer, although not all live in swampy habitats. We'll soon be crossing a road. Yes, roads can be trouble for wildlife as they can break hunters and development, but these roads help our keepers travel the more than 40 acres to the Wild Asia exhibit. Now imagine a pig with tusks that erupt right through the roof of its mouth and then curve backwards towards its eyes. This pig is called a babarusa. You're going to see a large bamboo patch. If you look to the right of the patch towards the fence, you're going to see one of our babarusas. And also the next exhibit over, you're going to see one of our males. The babarusas get their name because their tusks remind us of antlers. Babarusa means pig deer in the Malay language, and are native to the Indonesian island of Sulawesi. Now you're not going to need my help finding our next two animals. These are our elephants. They're the largest animals on land, and they're also becoming one of the rarest. I know it's hard. I know you guys want to take pictures, and you really do. I need you guys all to stay in your seats.